Judith Ike, who is a Hadley resident. Maybe we know her. And she's got a huge history as an RN, but she also has quite a novelist background. She's written 3 novels. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you.
And she also goes by, you might know her by Nelle Cooper, or Nelle Cooper, right?
Nelle Cooper.
My grandmother's name was Nellie, so it's easy to fall out. So you've just finished a 4th novel, and that is called
Journey to the Water.
Okay, let's talk about that one first, and then we'll get to this Princess Lil, because this is exciting to me, too.
Oh, thank you.
Both of them are, but congratulations on another novel. And this is a fiction, but it's of a place that we, in this area, are probably all familiar with. Let's talk about that.
That was my hope. My very first novel opened at the Lapeer State Home. That's how the story opens. And I was kind of intrigued because it was something like, we didn't talk about it. When you were from the Lapeer area, you didn't really talk about the state home. And as I got older and moved back there I lived in Clarkson for a while and moved back to Lapeer, I realized there were so many stories about the state home, and there is virtually nothing there anymore.
No, the road is even different.
Yes,
where the
and
buildings
if you go up to Traverse City, they made a historical area, but Lapeer has nothing except the cupolas that are, or the, I can't think what you call them, that were the turrets that were on the buildings. They've put those around town, and they were actually made in the carpenter shop. And it's such an intriguing history.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's so many stories, and there's so many stories of a very deep devotion that the workers
To the
had.
caretakers?
Yes, so many stories that just pulled at your heartstrings.
Sure.
And I kept hearing these different stories. I was working as a parish nurse at the time, and I thought, I wish there were a way to release these stories to the public, or to at least get people talking about it, because the people who worked there at the time, my story is written during the 50s, so the people that were working there at that time are in their 90s or have passed on.
Yeah, those stories are disappearing.
So they're gone. So I decided if I could write something historical fiction with some romance, that maybe people would be empowered or encouraged to share their stories with their children or grandchildren.
Right, that was a huge institution.
It was. At most, I think there was around 4,700
Oh,
patients
really? Wow.
there.
I didn't
The
know
largest
that.
employer in Lapeer County, or larger than the city. And they had their own dairy farm. They had their own, I estimate somewhere around 200 dairy cows. They had their own Belgium horse teams
my
of horses, pigs, chickens, potato fields,
Yeah.
80-acre gardens.
Right, I remember the gardens.
They had the
The space for them.
bakery, they had the laundry, they had the
goodness.
carpenter shop, they had a blacksmith shop. It was virtually a city unto itself.
Sure, right. I was always heartbroken to see that those buildings came down. They were just beautiful. And I didn't know that kind of detail, but I did know that it was a very productive facility.
It's interesting that they went on later and developed farms. At that time, they decided it wasn't good that the people work. So they closed the farm, and now they've found out that it really helps people with mental illness to relate to animals,
Of course.
to work, to be productive,
Right.
to grow things.
Right.
So we've kind of realized that maybe
Oops.
all the decisions weren't the best.
Right.
Especially for the people that got so involved in their work and really felt a sense of pride in it.
Yeah.
And then
just
from then
taken
on
away.
just sat. They went to foster care homes and sat.
Yes, they did.
So there's a lot we can learn, but I think there's a lot to share.
Well, and a lot to learn from what you're sharing, bringing it back up again through
Right.
stories like this. I'm excited. So when do you expect that to be published and out
I'm
and available?
hoping to market it this year, to
so you'll
market
be
to an
looking
agent
for it,
this year.
okay.
I'm hoping. It's quite a process to get something published, but I have dreams.
Well, I hope your dream comes true, because I sure want to read this story.
I thought this line, I'd like to introduce it with this
Okay.
line. I don't remember the time of the year or the day of the week, but I remember the day my world collided with reality and I learned what it meant that I lived at the home. That day my life shattered on the sidewalk and left me with broken pieces of empty. K. Maureen O'Shea.
Oh, now I want to read the rest of it. So let's find you a person that's going to publish it. Okay, so let's go on to this little book. You said that you're inspired by your grandchildren, and I'm assuming this book was inspired by them as well.
Well, I've written several children's stories. It starts with every little girl wants to have a horse. Most every little girl wants to have a horse, and she's about 8 when she really wants this horse. And this little girl grew up. She got her horse when she was 8, rode her horse every day, and her horse's name was Princess Lil. And she rode the horse every day until a boy showed up with a little red car. And then she started spending time with him, and so her father decided they might as well sell the horse. She wasn't riding it. And when that decision is made, that leads to a serious dilemma for Princess Lil, and she has to learn how to cope in an environment that's not friendly.
Oh, so that relates to bullying that kids are dealing with today, and disconnection.
Well, we all deal with bullying. I think teaching the children teaching them coping skills and giving them a place to talk about it is so important. Rather than saying we've solved this problem, let's help the children have some tools so later on in life when it happens, if it does, they have some tools to work with. The biggest thing I found one of the things that prompted the book was there were some children that actually took their life. And they were young, and you probably remember the situations if you are familiar with the area.
Sure.
And I thought we have to reach out to these children and let them know that this is not a permanent situation.
Right.
And we need to talk with children about periods or episodes that we've had where we've been bullied. They should be able to come to some adult and say, this is happening in my life and it makes me feel really bad.
So this is not a book just for, say, a 4-year-old or a 13-year-old. That goes all the way through, since you have the adult questions in there as well.
And it's more for an 8-year-old and up, because my husband laughs because kids do watch Animal Planet, and animals aren't nice to each other. And in this book, the animals aren't nice to each other. And I've had people get very upset, but if you know how animals respond to each other, they do.
They do. They're not nice to each other.
They are not nice. No, they're not nice. So that's what I was kind of hoping that we could teach through dialogue and teach through talking.
Oh, it's so true. It's better to talk it out than duke it out, that's for sure. Well, thank you for writing this book, and thank you for stopping by to talk to us about it today.
Thank you.
And good luck with the next one, because I can't wait to read it.
Thank you very much.
And so if somebody wants to get a hold of this book, how do they do that? Who
It's
should
on
they
Amazon.
contact? On Amazon.
And WMPC recorded me reading the book.
Nice.
So some of the children most likely to be bullied are going to be children who have difficulty reading.
Oh, yes.
So my book is available as an ebook,
Audio,
and it's
great.
available as an audio. So they can buy the audio and the printed book, and the child can follow along as they listen to the audio.
Well, thank you for doing that. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people.
I'm grateful to WMPC. Thank you.